Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka boom. Hi, Ryan.
Hi. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Yes. Your regular scheduled program, except for we aren't as excited to see each other today because we've already seen each other this week.
Yeah, we saw each other on Monday. Was that Monday? I felt like today was Thursday, but
it was not Thursday. It was
nice.
Wednesday.
Feels like the week's going by a little slower, which I think is good. I get a little more prepped for my show this weekend. I was doing a lot of...
What show do you have this weekend?
I'm doing the Woodland Art Fair in Lexington, Kentucky.
Nice.
So I think this is the 4th year I've done it.
Nice.
It's been a good show. I think that was my... Before I started doing Berea, that was my best show.
That was your best show?
Yep.
Yeah, Berea's done well for you.
Yeah. And Berea's like 30 minutes south of Lexington. It's like real close to Lexington, 45 minutes south of Lexington. So they're kind of in that same area, like central Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I stayed at Bears last time you did Berea, and then came down and saw you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like
we went to dinner with
minutes.
Bear last year and at the Lexington show.
Yeah.
So I kind of got into it last minute this year. I applied late technically.
Oh,
and they were like, oh, we're past applications. But I was like really nice through email. And then at some point, I think about 2 months ago, they were saying, hey, we have a spot open if you're still interested. What I'm guessing is once gas prices start shooting up, some people that came long distances probably canceled.
Yeah, I would have done that.
So that's my guess. But because I don't think normally they have a wait list. But I mean, I've already done it before. So maybe technically I was on a wait list like informally.
Right.
And they reached out. So I'm glad I could do it.
Yeah.
I was a little behind on some applications this year. Stuff gets away from me.
Deanna was like, she goes, I'm going to start looking at applications right now. I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff. And I was like, thank you for being my show mother. And I still haven't looked at them. I'm so sorry, Deanna.
Yeah, you definitely have to be on the ball. So I think I started making a list for next year of just here's when the show is in the year, and then here's when the applications normally are due.
Yeah.
So that I can like be on the lookout. And there's so many different ways to apply for shows, depending on the show you're doing. So some of them have them on their own website. Some of them are on Zapplication. Some of them, they randomly post through email. You got to get on like a mailing list, and then they'll email you the application because it's like a smaller group. So it's very...
we don't want to work with that Zapplication. We don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about Zap is they already have it up so far in advance that you know it's coming.
Yeah.
But all the other ways, like, and some of them don't even mention, like, hey, the application will be up on January 1st. And then January 5th comes and you don't set a reminder or anything, and you're just like, well, I forget about it. And, you know, I might be on Zapplication applying for other shows, and then I don't see that one because it's not on Zap, so I gotta, figure out hopefully remember it.
Yeah.
But
ugh, I hate applications. This is why I like living in such a small town.
Where you just like find out, hey, do you got a spot for me?
Yeah.
Do you have a spot for the show this weekend? It's like, what? No. You gotta get that shit on the calendar.
Gotta get it on the calendar. Yeah, I'm kind of in that kind of situation this weekend, actually. Rebecca, sent me a picture of a flyer that was like, hey, we're having a 1-year anniversary party and all the vendors have it's a free booth fee, no booth fee. And
1 year of having a show?
no, I think it's a restaurant or something. I have no idea.
Okay.
So it's at this place, and they've been open a year. So it's like their 1 year anniversary party.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just were like, hey, vendors are free. We have 10 spots. Come if you want.
So they don't necessarily have to like Rebecca doesn't have product in their store or whatnot.
Right.
It's just like, hey, it's a party.
Yeah,
and
and
we want to
Rebecca's not
support
going to
small
do
businesses.
it, but I'm doing it. So
Okay.
she just sent it to me because she like met this lady at a show.
Okay. What kind of business is it?
I love how you think that I even know that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do you want to potentially waste your time if you don't even know what it is?
Because Rebecca sent it to me, and she knows things.
Okay.
Like, here, I'll find out. It's oh shit. 1 year. Oh shit. Now I have to find it.
Well, you got to know where you're going at least.
1 year anniversary show. It is the Parlor Public House.
Sounds like a brew pub or something.
Bar or brewery.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not very long. I think it's like
3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. 12 to 4.
On a Saturday?
On a Saturday.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That would be kind of low effort. I feel like when those shows start at 11 or 12, I'm like, I can pretty much sleep in. Like, I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn to go set up. And usually a 4-hour show. Like, I'm not going to bring my whole setup. I'm going to bring, like, a table and a half or a table and a mug rack or something like I would do for a farmer's market.
Yeah, I just have my farmer's market booth set up, so
yeah,
it's nothing fancy.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy.
So what's new with you? I know you got some new things going on over there. You're probably working on something right now.
I am. That's why I feel like that's why I'm like a little bit disconnected. But I'm gonna be done in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 balls.
8 balls left.
8 balls left. I have decided that I'm gonna do jewelry, and I'm gonna do it well, and I'm gonna care about it, and I'm going to make my booth all kitschy, and so people that walk by are like, wow, look at that. It's so pretty.
Nice. Mm-hmm. This isn't like a Tuesday night keeping you up idea that's going to happen for like a month. It's like...
No, this is
like...
a
medium-term plan.
Yeah, this is Becca has been thinking about this for 2 months sort of plan.
Okay.
And I couldn't, I knew that I wanted to do something potentially with jewelry. For a couple of reasons. One, if I'm going to be traveling more in the future, I want to have something that I can take with me, small footprint. 2, I have always wanted to do jewelry since I was in college.
Yeah.
But I never had the resources available. I've never been in a jewelry class or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And so I've always wanted, and I was going to kind of get into glass jewelry. Me and Krista were working together, but then my carpal tunnel got in the way, and now I can't do the glass melting or whatever it's called because my hands get all messed up, immediately. And also it's, I don't know, I'm just so sick of selling cups. I'm sick of people saying, oh, I just don't have any room in my cupboard. And
how many people have tons of earrings though that they don't have space for more? But I feel like it is a buy that people get tired of and they get rid of, or they just leave it and get new stuff.
How many earrings has your wife bought in the relationship that you guys have had?
Shit, I don't know. There's a whole rack of 50 in there.
Exactly.
They have a pretty small footprint, which is good.
They have a small footprint, and you can sell earrings for $40, and people will buy them.
Way less
And
clay than making a $40 cup.
so much less clay. And somebody was I posted a picture of me making these little beads, and it's going to be very simple, just like little tiny clay balls in different colors and like dangled, like those modern lamps that have like the strings and then the big light bulbs hanging down and they kind of like group together.
Sort of.
So it'll be kind of like that. And well, I sent you a picture so you kind of know what it looks like. But yeah, I don't know. It's the time. It's time. It's time to change.
How's the difference in your hands? Because you have to be like very fine tuned with some of that stuff, right? Because it's like smaller hand movements, but it's more intricate than
it's totally different. Like, obviously, it does stretch your hands out, but what my hands have an issue with is a twisting motion. I feel like, as far as like when I'm holding tools and stuff, but I'll still have hand problems. I'm sure it just won't be as bad.
Okay.
And I'm not going to be doing a lot of like fine metal working, so that'll be good. But yeah, I'm excited to see. What's really exciting is that I'm going to throw them in the rock tumbler after I get them out of the kiln, smooth them up. I like the process of like making them really smooth, and then I'll probably put on like dots of like stroke and coat and stuff.
Cool.
And
yeah,
like
I
make
can
them
see
really
like
tactile.
the bright colored slips, and then you'll. Is that what you're gonna do? Are you gonna like mason stain?
Mason stain clays. Yeah, so I'll just make the little balls with the colored clay. And I mean, like I've already made probably like 100 of these little tiny beads, just today and yesterday. So
yeah.
And I wasn't gonna.
Can you make slip out of the dark star? Like, that would probably look really cool, right? With the specs in
I'm
it?
sure you can. I'm not going to do slip, though. I'm just going to make clay out of colors.
But if it's colored, how are you going to color it?
With the mason stains. But I'll probably
But you're just going to wedge up.
In.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, so... Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I wasn't going to make any with just, like, the regular colored clay. I might coat them in, like, underglazes and see how they turn out. See, like, how they look.
Because I've made the clay with the slip. Like, I make the slips with the stain, but I use the clay trimmings in the cup, and then I just add 20% stain to whatever dry, and then add water, and then you just dry it out on plaster. But yeah, if you just want to paint it.
Yeah, I've done that before. I have done that before, and so, but I think that I'm going to be using such a small amount of clay that I don't think it'll be an issue. Okay. Just because like the amount, this is the amount of clay that I just pinched off of my thing, and I just made like 40 little beads out of it. It doesn't need very much, so I think that just wedging it in won't be an issue.
Okay. I've never done wedging with stains before. I mean, I've seen people do it where they, wedge it, cut it, slice it, stack it, cut it, stack.
Yeah.
Like they keep.
I texted Sarah and I was like, how do you think putting clay in a KitchenAid mixer with a bread
No, don't do it.
kneader would work? And she was like, I don't know. But if you do it, I want to know how it works.
It's like, do you care about this KitchenAid mixer?
I know. I was like, I'm never going to do that to my KitchenAid because I use it like every day. But, it's fine. Yeah, it's been fun to like think through the whole plan. I don't do that very often. You know that.
Well, yeah, that's why I was asking if this was a spur of the moment idea or if this was a thought through idea.
No, this has been pretty thought through.
Okay.
And
well, I mean, you've done some earrings and jewelry before. It's just it hasn't been like a focus.
Time coming. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I think that I'm finally ready to just like focus it on that. And then I'll still keep like the fancy cups, and I'll still keep the fancy cups, and I'll still keep the shitty cups probably. Just cups. And then I can would it be really cool if I could sell these at like wholesale cost, Yeah.
Like, do people wholesale earrings? I haven't really thought about that.
I was thinking of just selling the beads, like wholesale beads, you know?
Like bisque?
No, glazed. Like fully finished.
And then they
So
use them for beads or for
yeah, like
jewelry
for
or
making jewelry
pendants or
or
whatever.
whatever, or pendants. Yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, I was thinking that might be funner than this, what I'm doing right now. And somebody messaged me. I'm not going to say who it is, but I felt like they had something profound to say. um, what did I? Where is it? There it is. Because she was like, "What are you doing?" And I told her I was going to do jewelry, and she said, "I can't find it. Oh my gosh."
Do you think the rock tumbler, if you underglazed them, would it sand them down, like sand down some of the underglaze?
Yeah, I think it will. So I have to see how that kind of goes.
Mm-hmm. That's why I guess you'd want to have colored clay instead of.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is what she said, and I was like, "Wow, that's me." She said, "I think you haven't loved making pottery for a long time, and despite your excellence in craft, your heart wasn't in it, and maybe that somehow weirdly translate to how you sell. That's only a guess. I think your fancy cups are super cool, but yeah." And but anyway, like I thought that was, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's true." Like
I mean, I feel like you're pretty open about that, though. At
I
least
mean,
for
I am
listeners of
pretty
this
open about
podcast.
that,
I
but
don't.
like you don't really like recognize it as much when you're just like, I'm just in this. I mean, you do recognize it, but it takes somebody telling you to be like, oh yeah, you're just in this because you're a good worker, and you need to be.
Or like it's a way that you can make money,
Yeah.
and it's something that you don't have to work as hard as other
Right.
things
Right.
to
Right.
make the same amount of money.
Right. And I say that all the time, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um.
And I
But
listened
yeah,
to your episode with Rebecca
how did you
from the
feel?
Maker's Playbook. It was good. It did feel a little abrupt at the end, but
Well, it was abrupt at the end because her mic like went
crapped
out.
out. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
for people that haven't heard it, it's episode 311 on the Maker's Playbook. I'm sure we'll link to it down below. But yeah, Becca was on it. Yeah, you were chatting about a lot of stuff. Yeah, I feel like you don't hear that perspective from people, and I mean, you hear it on here a lot just because if they
Just because that's who
listen
we
to
are.
you, they know you. But
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like the meat of it was right there in the last 15
Right at
minutes
the
for
end.
sure.
I wish that we would have gotten that. Like, I wish
Yeah,
we could have gotten another hour, for sure.
yeah. Damn it.
Damn it. But it's okay. It is what it is. But yeah, there are a lot of people like talking about it, and that's cool. That's really cool. And yeah, what else was there? I made zucchini bread the other day. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Do you
only had
like
a couple
zucchini bread?
zucchini breads before. I feel like they're kind of basic. I don't know. They're kind of
I
like
didn't feel like
isn't
this
it
was
isn't it
basic.
kind of like a banana bread, but it's
Yes, it is. It's like a very similar to a banana bread, but I don't like banana bread. So I like banana strawberry bread though. That's delicious.
I'm more of
You've
like
never had it because I made it up many years ago.
more like a what's that, like pumpkin bread? Is that a thing?
Gross. Yeah, that's a thing. That's disgusting.
I like that.
Zucchini bread's just like carrot cake. I feel like you would like it.
It's kind of like carrot cake.
Yeah.
It's not quite as sweet. I don't. Is it as sweet?
I felt like it is. Maybe
Okay.
it was the one I made. I just pulled up a random recipe, but
Yeah, I don't know. I've only had it a couple times.
it was very easy. So that was nice.
Yeah, when we go to this monthly market, the Westside Market, there's a farm that comes there, and we normally get their summer squash pizza crusts.
Yes.
And he normally has these little muffins that are like zucchini chocolate chip muffins.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like zucchini bread, but it's got chocolate chips in it. So those are usually the ones that I have. That's like zucchini bread that I've had before.
I personally hate zucchini bread with chocolate in it, so I don't. I
mean,
think
they're
that
good.
skews
I'm just
the whole
eating it. Like he just
flavor.
gives it to me at the show, so I just eat it at
Yeah.
the show.
And also I think that the bread makes it a lot moister. So like if you make any muffin, it's not going to be as moist as a bread, I feel like, because it's not as large of a surface area. so it dries it out a little bit more. But yeah,
Plus the chocolate is kind of gooey from
I
the heat.
fucking that is like for me that's like a fucking sin against nature is to have chocolate in bread. Ugh. Blech. Gross.
You don't like chocolate chip muffins or anything?
No.
Oh.
No. I like.
What kind of muffins do you like? Are you
Blueberry.
like a blueberry muffin?
I like poppy seed muffins are my favorite. Just regular poppy seed, not lemon poppy seed. Just regular poppy seed muffins are my absolute favorite.
Okay. Like Elaine Bennett's having her poppy seed muffin.
Fuck yeah. I grew up on poppy seed muffins. Like, that's what we always would get.
When you get a drug test, you'll test positive for opium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's your favorite muffin?
I like chocolate chip muffins.
It's just monster.
I remember getting those old mini muffins. I mean, basically
gross.
not even muffins. It's basically candy. Like, those aren't muffins. But those packs, you get like 5 muffins in a bag.
Yeah.
But whenever we've been doing the Berea show, we've been getting the 4-pack of muffins.
Yeah.
And this time I did a mix and match though. I got 2 of the chocolate chip ones, and I got 2 blueberry ones. So we kind of
nice.
And the blueberry ones had like the sprinkled drier stuff on top, like a crumble kind of.
Oh, okay, yeah. I like, like blueberry muffins are like they're good. I will eat them. I think the banana chocolate chip muffins are absolutely disgusting. Like banana nut. Gross.
Yeah, I don't want like nuts in muffins.
I love nuts. I all around. I love like walnuts. I love pecans. I love all the nuts in the breads. But like when it's banana and chocolate and nuts, no. No.
No
But
thanks.
I don't, and I love bananas too. I don't know what my aversion is to banana in bread.
I can't eat bananas. I think I've told you this, but
Yeah, you're like intolerant.
I like salivate. I think it closes up my throat or something.
Yeah, you might be allergic to bananas.
Yeah, since I was in college, it started happening.
Such a shame. I love bananas just regularly.
Rachel eats enough for both of us, so
yeah,
she likes them like green.
I am the opposite. I like them super sweet.
Like no spots.
Oh, I'll take like
no
a
brown spots at all. Way too sweet for her.
Yeah, I like them. I like all bananas.
I like them
Have you ever
lightly
had a banapple?
brown.
No, of course you haven't. Anyway,
Had a what?
A banapple.
I don't know what that is. Is that in the shape of a banana, or is it an apple that tastes like a banana?
It is a banana that is a hybrid with an apple. So it's a small banana, but it tastes like an apple.
Is it like bulged out like an apple?
No. It just looks like a small banana. And it's just a hybrid fruit. And they're really good. They're pretty good. I think you could probably only find them in California.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say plantain, and then I was like, no.
I like plantains, though. Those are good. I wonder if you could eat plantain. Can you eat plantains but not bananas?
I think we've had plantains at... Semi-recently, we had them at a Cuban restaurant in Louisville. I think I tried it. I mean, I wasn't that big of a fan. I don't know. Like, cooked plantain... Yeah.
Deep fried plantains? Fuck yes.
They were just cooked like a side dish?
Yeah. I do like plantains a lot. But I'm also, like, back to the muffin situation, I'm also not, like, a bread person, which has taken me a long time to figure out. Like, I love bread. Okay, this is my issue. I love bread. Like, if you put a loaf of bread in front of me, I will eat the whole thing. But I don't buy bread. And I think that I don't buy bread is because of that.
Because you know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, because I know I'll eat it. Or I'm also not a snacker. So, like, it has to be in one of the meals. Mm-hmm. And, like, if it's not, then I'm not going to eat it. So...
Come to the Deech and Carlos Durbin household. They have about 4 loaves of bread at any time at the house.
Yeah. I buy like 1 loaf of bread a year. I'm like, I feel
sandwiches. Like we're more likely to not finish a loaf of bread than to worry about, I got to go get more bread.
Like, I would love to have just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day, but like, I don't know. I just like I have jelly and peanut butter, but I'm like never gonna buy bread.
What kind of bread though? What kind of bread you eating that PB&J on?
If I was gonna eat a PB&J, it'd have to be the shittiest white bread possible.
Like generic Kroger brand white bread?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe like a potato bread. Oh, fucking potato bread is so good.
Does that come in a loaf? Or I'm thinking like potato buns.
No, potato bread comes in a loaf. Arrow, is it, what's that, is that brand, is it Arrow Wheat?
I don't know. I don't even
know.
grocery shop. Rachel does that.
I know. Because your life is so equal. Anyway. I'm giving you the smile.
No comment.
Your smile is so mean right now. And it's
mean
deserved.
To
you? Yeah. You're like, meh.
Depends on what you mean by equal.
That's true. Anyway, we can. You're pretty equal. Anyway. No, she's so nice to you.
Yes.
Like going grocery shopping.
26 minutes in.
26 minutes in. Well, we don't really have that much to talk about anyway.
All right. Do you want to read that? Do you have that review pulled up from the messages?
I can read it.
Okay. We got a review
will
through
try.
messages because this person cannot leave it in whatever playing app that they listen in, and it was very sweet. So
Yeah. It was
this would
very
be a good
sweet.
platform to read it.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Suze.
What's her
Susan's.
Instagram name?
Suze?
No, click on her name and then see what her profile says.
Suezens. Susan's. Oh, wow, she knits. Very beautiful things. Oh, and she makes bread.
Knitting and bread.
Knitting and bread.
Here we go.
Okay.
Good activities to be listening to podcasts.
Yes. Yeah, clay and knitting go well together, and bread goes into that category as well, I guess. Okay, so it says, I fucking love your podcast. I am a hobby potter, and I learn stuff from you, but mostly I listen because I love your banter. You are about the same age as my children, so I can relate to your cultural references, and I really just love that you are uncensored and swear like real people, or at least like me. Ryan is so inquisitive, and he'll press a point for clarification. He's got such a logical brain, and Becca is just all out there. I have been listening to new episodes when they come out, but I have also been listening from the beginning, Becca style. I am on number 50 now, so I feel like I know you. It took listening to your early interview on the Potter's Cast to learn how you two met. I couldn't figure it out before then, but had assumed you met when you were kids. Boy, was I wrong. You do kind of seem like siblings, though. Keep up the great work. We are siblings, basically.
Could you imagine meeting a younger Ryan and a younger Becca? I don't.
Oh my god, I was such a bitch when I was little. Like.
I don't talk to like anybody that I grew up with really, except for like
I don't either.
one close, like we're all family friends and stuff too, but we communicate semi regularly, but I feel like I don't communicate with a lot of people on a regular basis, but we're still friends and see each other. We kind of got that, like, you get that back when you see each other.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we were both very different when we were younger.
Yeah. I don't even know. I feel like we need to like talk to Deech on a thing and be like, what was that like growing up?
It would be funny to have
It'd be
both
interesting
of our
to
parents
get
on.
like a parent perspective, and like, are there things you've learned about me, or like?
I mean, there's no way that my mom doesn't know about the podcast now. She follows me on the Instagrams.
Yeah.
She's told me not to cuss. I
mean, it says it on your profile.
I know. We've already been there. Like, she called me the other day and was like, could you please stop cussing? And I was like, sorry, I can't. Um,
As your profile says, just being a fucking human in Indianapolis.
yes. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mom. Not that she's gonna listen to this, but it would be interesting to get our parents on the same podcast. I don't think my mom would do it.
I think we could get my mom on an
We
episode.
for sure could get Deech on.
Yeah.
I could ask her. I could ask my mom. It's a little bit of a disadvantage for her though, because
I feel like
I
Dee
know
would know
Deech.
what's coming though.
I know Deidre and really well. And
Yeah,
like,
I've never met your
like,
mom. I don't really know much about your mom.
You guys are like my second family, and then my mom hasn't met anybody. So that would be awkward. But yeah.
All right, do we want to go to a listener question?
Oh yeah, Ryan picked the listener questions, and I don't know what they are, so this is exciting.
All right, this one's from Clay Haven Studio. It says, you have mentioned not making certain items because you just do not like making them. I get that. I don't make hand-warming mugs either for the exact reason. But are there pieces that you refuse to make because of liability reasons? Example, oven-safe pieces like baking dishes, pie plates. This seems to be a controversial topic on Facebook groups. So do you make and sell oven-safe pieces? What clays do you use, or what are your opinions on that? Clay Haven Studio. Have you made oven-safe stuff before?
Everything's oven safe.
That's a pretty broad statement. What do you mean by that?
No, I mean, like, I tell people that, like, I've made pie plates before. Yeah. Tons of my customers have cooked in my pots.
Does it depend on the clay you're using? I mean, obviously, you know your clay, so can you tell people why your piece is oven safe? Or
this was back in the day. I don't make stuff now, but I do tell people they can put it in the oven. I mean, like, you just have to put your food on the plate correctly, essentially, or in the vessel correctly. You know, you have to fill the whole vessel. You can't just put a piece of frozen chicken on a plate and put it in the oven and expect it not to crack. Physics doesn't work that way. So, if it's microwave safe, why isn't it oven safe? I don't know the science behind this. I'm just...
But do you have, like, the only pieces I wouldn't say that any of mine are oven safe. I would say I have not tested it in an oven. But if you do decide to put it in an oven, you know, I would generally tell people that I would be more comfortable putting my speckled clay in the oven over my white clay because it has grog in it. I don't know. It seems a little more structurally durable.
I put all of my dishes in the oven.
My white clay, but that's just a gut feeling. I don't know the science behind that. I just don't recommend it. I don't put a stamp of approval and say this is oven safe.
Yeah. No,
and
I don't have an issue with it.
I don't really make those forms either. I don't really want to make casserole dishes or pie plates.
Right.
I feel like it just opens me up to issues of breakage, and I don't want to have to remake pieces because you still might get contacted from people that have had user error, and then they want you to replace it versus somebody that, like, dropped something versus something that, like, made a fucking mess in their oven.
Yeah, like that one guy who put a single potato on my plate in the microwave for 7 minutes. And then it broke, and I was like, you put a single potato on the plate in the microwave for 7 minutes? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, this isn't Tupperware. Like, all of the heat goes straight to that one point, and it's like, hi. Like,
is there a way that you could... What would you do to make that useful, though? How would you do that on a plate?
what?
How would you do it? this is my dumb brain. I don't know how to cook a potato in a microwave. How do you do that in a microwave without just
Okay,
putting it right on a
first
plate?
of all, when you cook a potato in the microwave, you don't put it on a fucking plate. You just put it in the microwave on the plate that's given, the little glass spinning
or
plate.
like on a paper towel or something.
Or like wrapped up in a wet paper towel, or on a paper plate, or I don't know.
Do you stab it with a fork and stuff, or that's after?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do stab it with a fork.
Okay.
See, I grew up having microwaved potatoes as baked potatoes, so I don't know. We always called microwaved potatoes baked potatoes. Now I don't know what everybody else does in reference.
My grandma used to have. They used to have an older microwave that had a rack in it
for potatoes.
I'm guessing that's for a potato. So you just sit the potato on the rack. So that's what I'm used to seeing with like a baked potato, because they would make baked potatoes and that's how they would do it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like they probably don't have any microwaves anymore that don't have a spinning plate, but they used to, you know.
What do you mean? Ours has a spinning plate.
I know, but there's some old microwaves that don't have a spinning plate, so there's like...
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just a flat surface.
Anyway, as far as the oven is concerned, I've always assumed that pottery is oven safe.
Why? Like, because it's vitrified? Does fully vitrified make a difference?
No, because it goes into an oven to get cured. I don't know, because it's like, it's pottery. I don't know.
I feel like this is a Josh question.
I know. Or a Link question.
Somebody that knows the chemistry behind clays and what makes them durable.
Yeah. And it's not like I sell plates or anything like that anymore, so I never say they're oven safe anymore, but like, have I baked mac and cheese in one of my bowls? Yes. Have I made nachos on my plates in the oven? Yes. Have I like cooked vegetables on a plate in the oven? Yes. Like, did I put these beads in the oven in one of Hammerly Ceramics bowls? Yes. Like, I don't know, I just put shit in the oven all the time.
I think the whole rule of thumb is just make sure you warm it up with the oven. That's the only kind of rule of thumb that I've...
Or make sure your food's totally like around it, you know?
Like covering all the surfaces, so it's all warming up together. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are clays out there that prove to be oven safe. Or maybe I'm thinking fire clays, which are different.
Yeah.
Like because they can actually handle the thermal shock, like, and the heat immediately.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I'm guessing it's just called... I think it's just called fire clay or something like that.
Oven brick clay or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
The red ones? The red one?
Yeah, it's like legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not...
I wonder if there's something... I wonder if there is something different about the whole, like, if it's a groggier, grittier clay versus a no grog. Maybe it's just because I'm used to...
Yeah, I don't know.
If I have clays break and crack, it's more likely to be the ones with no grog in it.
Yeah.
Like, I've had plates crack that are just, like, don't have grog in it, but it's also because it's, like, thinner or, you know, it might have been, you know, not as vitrified or something. Like,
yeah.
So.
I don't know.
So, all right. I think that's about all we can get on this question.
Yeah. Clearly right. But what was the actual question? It was like, do you tell people, like, do you not make things because of liability?
That was the first question. Are there pieces that you refuse to make because of liability reasons?
The answer is no for me. I mean,
I'm not going to make like a teapot you put on the stove or something to boil water. Or, like, would you ever do that?
I think that it depends. Like, you can make a little stand for it, and so it's raised up a little bit above the
flame.
The flame, or coils, flame or coils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else. Liability. Like, what are some risky pieces that you would make that would cause issues?
I don't know.
I mean, what about, like, stuff with gold on it or anything like that? Like, I'm sure there's a little bit of, like...
Oh, I won't make those pieces for 2 reasons. Gold's really
Like,
fucking expensive and you can't put it in the microwave.
like, is there any risk? Probably not, but is there risk in like having gold leaf like or gold luster right on the rim of something that you're drinking out of, or having hot liquid directly in contact with the gold?
I don't know that answer, so I'm not going to say anything to it.
Okay,
I would
that's
say
the only
no,
other
but
questions that would come to my mind of
yeah.
like risky things. I mean, the only other stuff is just like not having glazes that are so high in something that it's like potential for leaching or something like
Yeah.
so much of a colorant
Cobalt.
that it's like risky.
Yeah.
But I would maybe use it on the outside of a piece, but not inside where liquid's directly in contact with
Yeah.
the surface. But yeah, I can't think of other things. I feel like I make pretty basic stuff that's not. It's pretty safe to use every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a no from me, dog.
All right, and then the second one was 40 minutes in. Hi, I have a question for the podcast. Do you have any tips on throwing tall, narrow forms? A local distillery is interested in me making some bottles for them, but they have to fit in their current packaging. This means they have to be narrower than my hands and about 12 inches tall. Do you have any tips for throwing pieces when your hand can't fit inside? Thanks for your help, Hannah. That is from Reaction Ceramics.
12 inches a foot fucking tall?
It sounds like a... Have you seen those like the brewery things, like a
Yeah.
growler? I think that's what they're called.
No, that's not what they're called.
I thought that's what they're called, a growler. The really
Oh.
big container, like a big moonshine jar.
Yeah, but then she...
Are growlers 12 inches tall?
Yeah, they're 12 inches tall, but they're a bottle, so you'd be able to get your hand in most of the way. She's talking about like a tall glass.
Maybe.
Say the part about what they look like again.
Throwing tall, narrow forms. A local distiller is interested in making some bottles for them, but they have to fit in their current packaging. So it sounds like they're selling current packaging. Oh, what if she's making like a wine bottle, kind of like something that they can actually put beer into and cap or something? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what she means?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, let's just assume it's a tall, narrow form. Okay. You can use a throwing stick to get on the inside. That's an option. But also, well, when you can't, like when you're trying to like throw something, like I would throw walls almost to that height and where your hands can fit in, and then collar it all the way up to a point where you can't fit your hands in, to like the right size. If you're just collaring the lid, then that's one thing. But also make sure your starting centered ball is tall, not wide, so that you have more clay to like bring up. Make sure you aren't top heavy when you're pulling up. Make sure that you have, make sure that you're getting as much clay up on your first pull as you can, or not first pull, your second pull as you can. And the way you can do that is by when you're, if you have your middle finger on the inside and your middle finger on the outside, you're going to want to maybe move your inside middle finger up maybe half an inch, so it gets a little bit more clay oomphed out, and so be more aggressive towards the bottom and then be a little bit less aggressive towards the top, but then throw the top half again just so that you're not as super top heavy. I don't know if all that made sense. I'm kind of like walking through the process.
I think I'm guessing she's probably talking about like a really big beer bottle. Imagine like a 1 liter beer bottle.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, a 12 inch tall.
Yeah.
Probably like a tall beer bottle. Yeah, I would make it like my oil bottles. Mm-hmm. I go cylinder, keep it vertical, don't have it where it's wider at the top because you're going to be working against it to collar it in. And make sure you leave enough clay at the top thickness-wise so that you're not going to have it folding over itself.
Yep.
What would you... It looks like she's kind of like... I don't know how long she's been making. I just looked her up.
What's the name?
Reaction Ceramics. She's in the UK. United Kingdom.
Hannah?
Mm-hmm. She's throwing some similar pieces. Boards of similar pieces.
Yeah, I would say my biggest suggestion specifically for this is going to be your poles. Your poles are going to need to be a hell of a lot more aggressive than what you're doing right now.
Yeah, what would you say for you personally, how much clay do you think you would need for, let's just picture it's a 1 liter bottle. 12 inches tall.
And a 2 liter is a pop bottle?
Yeah. Just think of it like a pop, like a
like
soda
the skinny
bottle,
pop
but
bottles,
skinnier.
right? The skinny pop bottles?
Yeah.
I
feel like I would use like 2.5 pounds.
That's what I was thinking, like 2.5 pounds to 3 pounds almost.
Yeah.
2.5 pounds.
I don't know how much it needs to hold.
12 inches is really tall. Like, I know that.
Maybe
like,
that's wet though. Maybe it needs to shrink down. But maybe if it's not, you're gonna have to throw it even taller than that.
You're gonna have to throw it 13 inches tall, and that's really fucking tall. Like,
I almost feel like it'd be easier. What if you made them in 2 pieces? You made a tall cylinder, and then you just made the top, and you joined it.
and you joined it.
I wonder if that would be.
That would kind of look cool too.
So you made it in 2 pieces with the kind of like you made a funnel for the top, and then you joined it with a tall cylinder.
Yeah, like there's no question. Like, we could do it, right? We can actually do it, but like also I think that the like 12 inches is really tall for how skinny that is. Like, you know, that's what 4 inches wide and 12 inches tall. Like, that ratio is 3 to 1 as far as the width to the height.
Yeah, I think the stability is just going to be really hard. I think it would be hard for me to throw.
Yeah.
To get it that tall. You could barely get your hand in. I could barely get my hand in maybe by the time it gets to where it needs to be. And I don't want it. I would like to be able to get my hand all the way down into it. That might help not throwing the very top, but, you know, keeping it a consistent thickness and whatnot, or fairly thick, consistent, because it's like, I don't know, that'd be tough.
Now I want to throw one. Now I just want to see.
Just try, like what would it take to throw a 12-inch cylinder? Or like an actual bottle?
The bottle. Like the whole bottle. It'd be interesting to like see how much clay it would work with. And
yeah. I feel like if I made a set of them, I would probably do them in 2 pieces like that. I feel like that would be the safest route.
that would certainly be the easiest route, I feel like. Especially for somebody who's not like extra experienced, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that would be way easier to get
your money's worth, for sure.
Cuz let's say you mess something up partway through. I mean, you need that clay to get to the height you need to get to. So
yeah.
And then the top needs to measure a certain diameter and it has to look good, but you have to get so much perfect up until you start collaring in the top, and then you can start collaring in and fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds huge.
I make these cups for Gravesco that are 3.5 inches wide and 7 inches tall.
What is that? Like it sounds like a little pitcher. Is that like a pitcher that you make cocktails with or something?
No. It's a cup. It's a tumbler. And they're 3.5 wet and 7 tall, I think, wet. or 7.5 tall wet, and it took me a long fucking time just to get used to that form, just at 7 inches tall. And I think it's a pound and 2.75 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good challenge.
Like, I threw them for the longest time and they bellied out way too much. I feel bad about those, but they like bellied out way too much. And then I finally got it down where it was straight. It was mostly like the communication. I'm not really good at communicating or receiving communication sometimes, um, but yeah. 2 parts. Do it in 2 parts.
Yeah. If I'm making a batch of them, that's what I would do for sure. Okay. Good. I'm glad I didn't ask you these beforehand.
I know.
You can get a little off the cuff, Becca, here. All right. So those are our questions today. Do you want to introduce what we're talking about since I read both of the questions and I got it on the list, or do you not see it?
I forgot what we're talking about. Do you want to send it to me really quick, or is it on the top of our notes?
It's on the top of the listener questions.
Okay. I'm getting there.
I mean, it's very general, but...
Which one is it?
It's at the very top. Right underneath the checkboxes.
Oh. Our question is... it was not at the very top.
It's a topic.
It was the third one down.
Whatever.
And it didn't even have a clicky box next to it. Okay. What our topic is trading assistants for part-time work for the studios, the pros and cons of that, and like how we go about that or what to do. And like, you know, if you don't have enough money to work or to pay somebody, like what's an even trade? What do you, yeah.
Yeah, what kind of considerations do you need to think about? Because I feel like you could definitely open up a can of worms if you don't know how you want to do the agreement.
Yeah.
Do you want to use like my studio as an example or something?
Sure.
Or
yeah.
So it's like what resources you have available. Okay, so I guess I would. And then what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about from somebody coming into the studio perspective, or from a business owner perspective of what you think should be worth offering?
Yeah, I think a business owner perspective.
Okay. So, yeah, generally I would say you're offering your equipment.
Yep.
Your
kilns. And what equipment? Yeah, okay. Your kilns, slab rollers if you have them.
Yeah, your wheels, your clay maybe. Maybe you have them pay for clay if you need to, but we can talk about that.
Clay, glazes.
Glazes.
Maybe.
And tools.
They can bring their own tools.
Yeah, okay.
They can buy their own tools.
Depending on if you have stuff around the studio or if they have their own or whatever.
I'm a really big fan of people owning their own tools.
And then just like, you know, general other studio access, like maybe time in the studio and like sync and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd just say all the basics that you would need that you don't have to have for your own personal studio.
Yes.
Outside of so it's basically trading all of your equipment in exchange for help in your own process. So I guess it's like, you know, what's the best way to structure it so that there's a sense of equality with work for access?
Well, I think the way I used to do it was, you know, it cost a certain amount of dollars a month for a studio fee, essentially, with no help from me. So for me, it was cheap. It was like $100 a month for a member, or maybe it was $150. I can't remember.
Okay, so we're talking studio membership,
right? Okay, but like, stay with me. Okay. So you have to like I would say calculate what you think it would be worth for somebody to come in and use your studio. Okay, calculate the cost of what you think it would be worth, and then calculate the hourly rate of what you would probably pay somebody. So like, I'm going to pay somebody, let's say $15 an hour. Okay. Because
Okay.
we're real nice. And, I think 15 is good anyway, because you're trading. But, so then you would be like, okay, it costs $150 a month for studio time versus $15 an hour. So you have 10 hours of studio time essentially, or 10 hours of work time. So
10 hours of studio time.
or
Okay.
not even 10 hours of studio time. I would just say 10 hours of work time.
You're saying
Okay.
that's what would break you even, basically.
Yeah, that's what I would feel like is acceptable to me. I'm like, okay, cool. Work for me for 10 hours a month, and you can use the studio as much as you want.
And does that include clay, or is that a separate
No,
line
that does
item
not include clay.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
a separate
access to the equipment and glaze
Yeah.
and everything like that.
With around the parameters of having boundaries, like
Time boundaries of
time
here's
boundaries.
the
Yeah.
here we need to agree on the days that you can come, maybe limited at 2 days a week or something like that. Or,
Yeah, exactly. And like I probably wouldn't be upset if they like used it to their fullest.
Would it differ if it was your home?
I don't know.
I feel like it would.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do you want them working at your home? It depends on what kind of situation you have. Do you have a detached garage where they just need access to the garage?
Right, where they just like go to the garage, or it's
Or
like
are
yours,
they
where you have
literally
to, like,
in your
go
house?
down through the basement. Yeah, I mean, like I think 10 for 10 would be good too. Like if you're like, hey, you can work 10 hours here,
Yeah.
and then that encourages them too to be like, oh, well, maybe I should get my own wheel in my apartment or in my house, and then just like,
Or work more for more hours.
yeah.
Okay.
How much does Erica work?
She works 4 hours 2 days a week. So 8 hours a week.
Okay.
32 hours a month. I mean, 10 hours a month is not really that much.
No, it's not.
It's not. I mean, it depends on what kind of level you're at with your making process and your production, but I feel like that's a starting level.
Yeah, starting level.
That's a starting level of like getting help in your studio.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, maybe it's just because I've had people working for me for the last like 3 years now, and 10 hours is nothing to fill. But
you also produce a hell of a lot more stuff than most people.
okay, that's true.
Like,
but I mean, just think of like, could you think of, even if they came for 2 hours, like an hour at a time, or let's just say 2 hours. Maybe they work in the studio for 2 hours and then they work for an hour for you. Like, I feel like anybody that's in the studio making money as a business can find an hour of work for somebody else to do.
yeah. I'm pretty lenient on studio time, honestly, but that's because it was in my studio, not in my house. So I think that you bring up a very good point in that.
Yeah, I think scheduling would be a big thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, depending on your studio size, shelving and like access to your equipment could be a thing. Like, you might not be able to physically work in the same space at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Because of access to tools and equipment and stuff. So, I don't know. Do you try to say like, okay, you're going to be in the studio Wednesday night from 4 to 6 so that you're not in the studio from 4 to 6? And maybe that's when you go exercise or go eat dinner,
Right.
or you do some emails or some computer work so that you're not in the physical space at the same time.
Which could be a really good boundary, honestly. Like if you're like, hey, you can do this, and it like makes you get out of the studio, that might actually be very good for some people. Mm-hmm. Like you.
I feel like if I was in the studio at the same time while they were working, I would be more conscious of like, oh, they're like making it dirty, and I'm gonna be like distracted,
make sure you're doing this correctly. Yeah.
Or like, wanting to like help them with something, or they're more willing to like ask me questions.
Yeah.
When it's like, I'm giving you access to the studio, not
me
instruction. Not like my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, those. Yeah, I just feel like it could, depending on the situation. Like and I don't think you necessarily need like a. I mean, maybe like a loose contract would be nice to have some kind
Yeah.
of agreement. And I don't know. Do you think like a time period would be good, like 3 months at a time or something? Because if you're doing like a studio class, you do it for a period of time, rather than just leaving it open ended and like reassessing after a period of time.
I think 3 months is good to have like a reassessment and like an evaluation
Yeah.
almost. Just like get together and be like, have lunch and be like, okay, how's it working out for you? What do you feel like, you know?
Yeah. Because I feel like in that situation, you have to kind of make it equal for both parties, so that it's like I'm
Yeah.
getting what I expect out of you as well as you're getting what you expect out of me, and not like over like if they really love it, right, they could be in the studio longer and be
Mm-hmm.
producing more stuff, which could take kiln space away from you, or
So in that point, I wonder if like then you figure out in your contract if you are going to be producing a full kiln load, then maybe a little something extra.
I mean, I feel like that's where you price the clay. I think they buy the
Yeah.
clay and you price the clay appropriately, so that if
Yeah.
they're producing more, then they will
It
be
doesn't matter. Yeah.
paying for it with the clay price.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Like you don't price, like Baker Hunt doesn't price their clay at retail, or like
Right. No.
let's say they buy it in bulk, so it's at a discount. Let's say I buy clay and it's discounted all the way down to like $18 a box, but it would retail for $24 a box.
Right.
You wouldn't necessarily charge a studio assistant 24, maybe you charge them 28.
Yeah.
So you're making a few bucks on the glazes and the firing or something. And then the time to reclaim, if they produce reclaim and they put it in your reclaim, you still have to spend extra time reclaiming clay potentially. And yeah, so those are some of the, I guess that price would help you make some more money back.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would make a little bit of money on the clay to help make up for some of the extra work of, and then like, do you load their pieces in the kiln? Do you
Right.
stuff like, or is it okay? We're doing a kiln load this day.
I think
Can
that
you
all
get my
depends on
pieces
how
in?
new the kiln is. It's like I wouldn't want somebody to load the kiln if they were like newish and my kiln cost me $4,000. Like, no thanks. Sorry, bro. Like, no.
I'm thinking like a bisque kiln or something. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like I choose the firing schedule because it's my kiln. And we kind of choose based on, I mean, I would only load it based on when I would be normally doing a kiln load anyways.
Right. Maybe they load it, you start it. That's what I would do.
So it's like this shelf, or I've already go ahead and load your stuff in the bottom part of the kiln.
Yeah.
You can take whatever shelves you need, or 2 shelves or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll finish loading my stuff on top of it.
Or even if they have a full kiln, I would still have them load it and then I would start it, because then I would know that they're not like starting it incorrectly or firing it to a different cone or anything like that, you know?
Yeah. And then what about like a piece of crack and stuff? It's like, oh, well, you loaded it incorrectly, or it's their problem.
That never
I guess,
has anything, like barely anything to do with the firing schedule. Like cracking it, it's almost always it already had a crack in it, or like it was too thick on the bottom.
Okay.
I mean, like you have to know how to fire your kiln, but not
But
bisque.
I
If
think
it was
some
bisque,
cracks of my pieces have come because I load them a certain way. Like if I stack like 6 spoon rests high or 8 spoon rests high, and they're not quite bone dry. Like I've got some vertical cracks.
Yeah, like in the bisque. I guess I was thinking.
That's what I'm saying, in the
I'm
bisque
sorry.
kiln.
Okay,
Yeah.
bisque. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You risk the crack, but I mean, it's up to them to load it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would be like, I want to load it optimally so that I can get as many pieces as possible. But,
I mean, you have to decide that, right? Like, if somebody wants me to load a kiln for them, they have no interest in that, then I'll load it. I don't fucking care. Like, it takes me 10 minutes to load a kiln.
mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I might bitch the whole time. It's like, I'll load it if you bring me a Coke.
Okay. So what else? What about the maybe what would be a good entry? Let's say you get 10 hours a week. What would be a good, I mean, I feel like it's totally dependent on the person what they would be willing to help with, but okay, maybe a better question is how should you structure when you have the work hours versus the studio hours? Do you have them on separate days? Do you have them
like off on weeks?
Yeah, like you work this week and then, or like you work on Monday and then you do your studio time on Wednesday. So it's like you kind of get your work up front and then, because like what, let's just say something happens Monday, they can't come in Monday, so they didn't work that week and then they still come in the studio. Like, would you be concerned about that, or is it more just like as long as you log your hours for the month? I feel like you just have to be more conscious of like logging time.
Yeah, I also think that like the way you would approach this as opposed to the way I would approach it are very different. Like you're
I'm very by the book. Like I would want to trade evenly.
Right, you're one of those people that wants to trade evenly, and I'm one of those people that's like, did you help me? Sure, great. Like, here's a wheel. Like...
Yeah. I would want some sense of numbers behind, did you help me?
Like, right. I think that...
versus, like, does it feel like you helped me? But I don't even remember what you did 3 weeks ago? Like...
Yeah, I think that, like... I guess for me... Okay, let's say we did it where it was, like, work on Monday, play on Wednesday, right? If they didn't work on Monday, I would not care about them coming in on Wednesday. Like, if
as long as it's not a habit of just like canceling.
Right. If they did that consistently, then obviously that would be an issue. But if they didn't, I'd be like, who fucking cares?
No, I wouldn't get that granular with it. But it's like, it's just like keeping track. As long as you're both on board of like keeping track that we don't have to reassess. Is it equal for both of us all the time? It's just like,
yeah.
Hey, you didn't make up last week, so can you work a little bit longer next week?
Yeah. I wouldn't do that. I would not be like...
So you wouldn't even have them make it up if they just didn't show up that day?
No, I wouldn't. I would not care.
But you're not getting your money's worth if, like, let's say they're supposed to work 10 hours and they... Because you don't care.
Because, like, I would much rather... I guess to me, I think the difference between us is that I value... somebody learning more than I value somebody working for me more. So that's the difference between you and me, right? You value somebody working for you more than them using your studio and like...
I mean, I get it. They're getting value for themselves more by getting access to the studio. I'm providing them value more if they're not equally working for it, I feel like.
What?
Which is kind of what you're saying. Like, you're saying, I don't know the way you were saying you're happier about giving them more value than they're providing you, is what it sounded like to me.
Yes, I'm fine with
You're
that.
fine with the unequal.
I'm fine. I am totally fine with the unequal because I am the one that's privileged in this particular situation, in the sense of like, I have something to give. I guess...
I think I would be fine with letting them work more. I just want them to have the drive to want to work for what they're getting.
That makes sense.
I want them to have the motivation to like, hey, I want to work for this.
Right, but if they don't have the motivation to work for it, they won't have the motivation to come.
Maybe they just like throwing in the studio and they don't want to do things that they don't care about.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't care about prepping clay for me. Maybe they just want time on the wheel. But it's like an hour. You can't prep clay for an hour to get a whole day of studio time? I mean, it's not an hour for an hour. It's like an hour for like 4 hours, right?
I mean, it depends. It depends on how you work it out. But I guess what I'm saying is like...
I feel like 10 studio hours for a month is nothing. You can't...
True.
You can't trade 10 work hours for 10 studio hours. That's like nothing.
That's true. That is nothing. No, I used to do 10 work hours for like as much as you want to come in for the studio.
Yeah.
But well, and see that in that
I would do
whole sentence, that's how
half
we're
a day for a full day or something. Like 2 hours for 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever agree on this. But
I don't think we're supposed to agree on it. I think it's just some
agree.
things to think about
Yeah.
of how you should start, like some things to consider, because
Yeah.
you could get into a situation where they're coming in the studio way more, and then maybe they don't do what you're asking, or they work really slow to fill that hour.
And that is when you have those conversations that are like, hey, you suck at this. Please
Is
leave.
it because you're not enjoying what you're doing? Are there other tasks that you'd rather be doing?
Yeah, that's when you have those hard conversations. But sometimes you have a dream team, you know? Like, I had Seb. Ugh, I fucking love Seb. Seb worked for me, and they were so good about... Like, really, if it's a great situation, you're teaching them enough so that they want to come in and work almost more than they're going to come in and play, right? But Seb would come in and work for me and do glazes and all the things. They loved chemistry and stuff like that, so they did all the glazes, and they would just come in whenever they wanted, and it worked out so well because we understood each other, you know? But also, like I said, it was in a studio setting, not a home setting. However, the studio was my home, so it kind of was the same.
I wouldn't say it's the same.
I mean, I was always there.
You didn't have other people living there that are,
true.
You know.
That is true.
Like, except for cats. You know, Rachel's around, and then it's like, hey, Rachel, by the way, somebody's coming. They're going to come in tonight for 4 hours. Like,
I wonder.
Just so you know.
Now, here's a question. I wonder if somebody you're, like, comfortable with, like, you know, like your current...
You could say Erica. That's
would like Erica. I wonder if it was somebody you're comfortable with, if that would change for you, like if it would matter, or if you were just like, hey, you can come in the box. Yeah.
I think it's just because I feel like it's an early thought when you first think about the option.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't say that somebody working for you, they're going to bring up, like, I need studio access. Can we trade studio access for work? I feel like it's on the business owner to be like, hey, I can't pay you, but would you be willing to get studio access?
Interesting, yeah.
And you kind of, like, start off that way. I feel like it would be weird to start paying somebody and then saying, hey, would you like to not get paid anymore and just use my studio?
Okay, but, like, let's say Erica did approach you and be like, hey, can I use your studio?
But I wouldn't know her at that point. I would feel like I would be more comfortable had they
That's what
already
I'm saying.
built a
like,
rapport.
If you did know her, if you knew her, like,
yeah.
Let's say it was one of your good friends or whatever, and, like, Erica's your employee, so I'm not going to say that. I'm sure you have a very friendly, like...
Yeah. It's somebody that I just know and
trust.
I already know them as a human.
Yeah. Like, if they came up to you and was like, hey, yo, can I use your studio? I'll only use the basement door. Like, are you cool with that? And you said, and they said, and I will text you 15 minutes before I get there.
No, 15 minutes is way too short notice.
Okay, so not 15 minutes.
They would need to let me know, like, at least a day before.
A day. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. What? I have my own schedule going on. You want me to, like, we're gonna go out of town and they let me know 15 minutes before they show up?
Within the parameters of the times that you've, like...
Oh, we've already agreed on something?
Yeah, you've
not
already
just
agreed
like,
on...
hey, I'm gonna stop in the studio tonight at 8 o'clock.
No, yeah. Like, you've agreed on, like, time frames. But
okay.
They were like, hey, I'm going to, like, 15 minutes before I arrive, within those time frames, I'll say, hey, I'm coming. Like...
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine, right? For them to just
I would be fine
in.
with that, but, yeah, I would want to... As long as... Maybe I'm just more protective about my studio, of, like, the cleanliness of it, and I feel like somebody's going to ruin that, and it's going to ruin the flow or potentially break things. Not break things, but, like, potentially dirty the studio is kind of what I'm thinking. But, I don't know. I think that's mostly what goes into it.
Yeah.
And it depends on the access to the studio. Like, they obviously could come around the back of the house and
Yeah.
come in this door down here and use the bathroom downstairs,
Right.
or and they could stay on the bottom level and it's not a big deal. But I am working from this desk during
Right.
the day, so they would need to go around or whatever
And
and
I
come and
mean,
go.
like you said, a lot of people have their studios in the garage. So, like, in that regard, it probably wouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah, that would just be like, hey, I'm going to be here this day, this time.
Right.
Come and go. And
I would say
as
that,
long as you have
yeah.
that agreement about, like, leaving the studio as you found it kind of thing,
Yeah.
I think. Or maybe you do have an extra wheel that they can use. And that's, like, their dead. I would feel more comfortable with that. Which I do technically have a third wheel.
Right.
As long as there's space for it and, Yeah. I think going into it, somebody I don't know,
It's different.
that's where it was like, it seems like a good business decision to do that, to trade studio access, but I feel like it just opens up more room for complications, for like inequality of trade, and then like risk of blowing things up in the kiln or glazing issues or something else like that.
Yeah.
And then scheduling thing. I mean, depending on your schedule personally, I feel like the scheduling could get hectic with people because you gotta let people in, let people go, in and out of the house or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're gonna be out of town. Oh man, I'd love to be in the studio this weekend for 4 hours or all day Saturday or whatever. And it's like, I guess maybe not. Maybe wait till I'm back. Like.
Well, you can always put in a camera.
Obviously, I think you should have. I mean, if you trust them, you trust them. But if you don't want to let somebody in your house for an entire day while you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, well, and also if you're going to do that, like, put a camera in your studio and turn it on when you're gone. And, that's a liability issue regardless. I think that having a camera in the studio, if you have somebody else, you should have always, regardless. People do things and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, or cats do things and you're like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, I definitely think if you do something like this where you're, trading studio times or what have you, and people are in your studio, regardless, you should be having a camera. Unless it's somebody like Erica who's working with you all the time, basically, and, so on and so forth. But I think a camera is a really good security for... And then if you aren't using it, just throw it, look at your kiln so you don't have to, be there.
Yeah. Or, maybe they want to come in and they're like, well, my, spouse can't watch the kid. Can I bring my kid with me while I'm in the studio? And it's like, I don't know. It depends on who the person is, if they're in that situation or whatever. But, then it's like, well, or like, hey, my friend I was going to show my friend something,
Yeah.
Just you. Okay. I mean, I think the biggest pro is like, yes, I have access to all this equipment that would be nice to share with people.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what do you open yourself up to with?
Yeah, are you the next?
I feel like I'm more likely
studio?
looking at the potential negatives or the potential issues that could come up that could cause headaches.
Yeah.
And it's like,
there's a lot.
I would rather make this more transactional with just work for money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I was thinking about that in the past. It's like, hey, they don't have access. It's like, what if I did ask them if they wanted to do this and trade a day for studio access and then I pay you for another day or something? It's like, I do have all this stuff. I would probably have a shelf that they could use, but, they would come another day and then, what do they get from another studio that they do it out of? They have access. Maybe they have more access to the studio on a regular basis than coming, communicating with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think there's already so much going on with me that like adding that level of mind,
Ness.
like so much going on in my mind of like things I need to think about.
Yeah.
Just makes it more difficult rather than just getting on a regular schedule. I mean, not that you can't get on a regular schedule and trade studio access, but
Yeah.
I think the time frame is probably good.
Yeah.
Just like you would do for a normal class. Like you're kind of contracted for 7 weeks.
Yeah. 8 weeks, whatever.
Yeah. And it's like you can reassess, and then that gives you options to like say, this isn't working, or this is working, or, you know, I'd like to see if we can leave the studio better than you got there. Like maybe cleaning up where you were and cleaning up the studio is a requirement when you finish your studio day or your work day. Maybe that's part of the work that you're doing, is to clean the studio, so it looks better when I get into it than when you got into it. That would probably put my mind at ease more.
That would be pretty tough in your studio because you always keep it pretty clean anyway.
Yeah.
Ryan's one of those people that, like, if he has like one scrap of dirt, he like makes sure to throw it into the trash bucket. Like,
yeah, if I'm trimming something and there's a piece of clay that like flings off while I'm trimming a piece,
he'll,
I
like,
will
grab it off the
like,
floor and then put it into
I'll
the
finish
bucket.
the piece and I'll pick up the trimmings and put them into the splash pan or whatever, so that I'm not stepping on them and crunching them and waiting until they dry. And
yeah. I am definitely.
I mean, that's why I
100%
haven't
not that clean.
I think I basically mopped the studio like once since we've lived here.
Yeah.
Because it's not really dirt. I mean, I get dust bunnies, but I don't like.
Yeah, we don't mop the studio. We don't have as like our studio that we all share, me, Merritt, and Sarah. We don't mop it. The only dirt, like I sweep pretty. I swear to God, if anybody messages us about silicosis, I'm gonna fucking kill them. I get the clay that is dropped on the floor off of the floor in a safe manner. When
it's not like you're taking a sweeper and you're freaking flinging that bitch across the room.
Yeah, I'm not flinging it, but Pip's hair goes fucking everywhere. Pip is Sarah's dog, and she.
Do y'all have fans going or anything? Is that why the hair is just all
Pip
over?
Just goes everywhere. It's like,
oh, okay.
Like, there's just Pip hair everywhere. So it's like whatever, but we keep a fairly clean studio, which is nice.
Plus your floor's not concrete. It's not. It's like a tile vinyl or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Which I feel like that's easier to clean, right? The vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably hard to see some dirt and stuff because it's like a cream color, isn't it?
Yeah. And like I make sure that there's something on the wall so that if, like, I don't clean what's on the wall, but I make sure that there's a shower curtain, like a dollar store shower curtain on the wall, so that, because I don't have a splash pan, so that the splashes go to the shower curtain and not the wall. That's very important. And I don't really clean that off because if I did, it would just be like, but of dry clay scraps.
Yeah.
But.
What about okay, here's another follow-up question. Okay, what if you did, and this kind of goes to the timing thing, but what if you were like, hey, the winter is my biggest making session because I'm making work for the spring. Maybe you just do like a 5-month contract of, hey, we're going to share studio access and you're going to help me get my production up. I just got a whole bunch of money from the winter, or and maybe that's where you decide on, okay, I need help for 5 months.
Yeah.
We can either do studio access, this structure, or I can pay you $15 an hour.
Right.
Which will estimate to about 4 hours a week or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you give the option to them to say like, hey, here's the options.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option. I mean, like, Seb came to me and asked me to work for studio time. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because they were already in the area, they already knew about your studio?
Yeah.
Were they a student?
No, they had just gotten out of college, and they, like, came to Washington and lived on this like homestead, and they had always done clay and they wanted to kind of like get back into it. So
Okay.
and they really liked the chemistry and all that stuff, so they just wanted to like get into learning more about it. And so and they had no interest in throwing. It was all hand building. Oh my god. Seb made the tiniest little bunnies, and they were the goddamn cutest bunnies I've ever seen in my life. They were like half an inch tall little bunny figurines, and they were so goddamn cute. But yeah, so yeah, I basically...
That would be great. Hey, if I could share studio access with somebody that's hand building and they just make a bunch of tiny stuff, I'd be like,
just
come
tiny
on in.
little bunnies.
Come on in. You ain't gonna dirty shit up. You ain't gonna dirty anything.
Tiny little bunnies. Yeah, it was great.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's like when they come and they're like, hey, you want to trade?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they're coming to you...
Yeah, that's when you got it good.
That's great. I mean, you could also have a really messy potter around the corner as well.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
you don't know about.
Yep.
That's what stressed me out. I'd be like, oh no. If they're dirtying the hell out of that wheel, what makes me think that they're going to be open to cleaning the studio for me?
It's true.
But maybe, I don't know.
Do we have anything else to add? I have an off-topic question that I wanted to ask you that's really off-topic, like not even ceramics related, but I thought that we could end our episode with it.
What is the biggest pro? We'll do the last pros here. What's the biggest pro about trading studio access for work?
Okay, you don't have to pay anybody. You potentially make a new friend. You get your clay weighed out.
Yeah, I think that the pay is probably the biggest thing for me personally, but
yeah,
I mean, I think it's cool to also like share your equipment as long as it's within like. It feels selfish to say like I wish they would work in a fashion that's like easy to have them share it, like
yeah.
Having me happy to share my equipment with them because they appreciate it like I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
like
it does. It gives you like
clean...
definitely like satisfaction when you can share the things that you are fortunate enough to have.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the biggest pro about paying someone for studio work?
No expectations. I mean, like set expectations, and like.
What do you mean?
Or what?
No set expectations?
No. Set expectations for what they need to do, and then you don't have to see them again, like until the next time.
Okay, so it's like it's very like day to day.
Yeah, no
it's like,
surprises.
I have this plan for you today
in
this time block. Here's what I would like you to do.
Right. No surprises. No like, hey, let's maybe do this. It's just like set.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
It's very transactional. It's kind of what it sounds like.
That's what I was trying to
say. Yeah, I think I think there's an easier I feel like it's easier to make it's more equal in that pay for work. I feel like there's more leeway. Like you can choose exactly what work you want them to do. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of make your money's worth as well as make them happy with what you're giving them, and hopefully make a studio environment that's easy enough to where it's like you're not on their ass all the time, or you're not like expecting things out of them and they don't meet expectations because you didn't explain it, or like
right.
I feel like it's easier to have an equal I want to say trade, but like it's equal for both parties.
I also thought of a pro of trading. No money is exchanged, so there's no government is involved. Unless you're doing it under the table, then it's whatever. But not that we're suggesting that, but it might be a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was it. I feel like we talked enough about cons and stuff throughout.
Yeah, pretty much.
All my worry. And Becca's like, I don't care. Come as much as you want. I don't care.
I forgot to say also in the beginning, I was going to tell you that this is exciting news. I finally booked the ticket to Colorado to go do my private consultation.
Oh, you did. I saw your stories about it.
Yeah, so finally I booked the ticket. I'm going out from September 30th to October 10th. So October 4th to 10th, I'm opening up for consultations, in-person consultations. So if you live in the Metro Denver area, Larimer County, or Boulder area, someone told me that I could borrow their portable wheel. So
yeah. So like you're gonna take a portable wheel to people's studios?
Probably, or something. I don't know. If they have a wheel, then I don't need a portable wheel. But
or could they come to you?
Or they could come to me. Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah, I did talk to somebody. There's somebody opening up a studio in downtown Denver, and she even has a Airbnb that I could stay at.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
But my parents are gonna want to see me at some point, so I have to see them.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean. That's part of the visit.
And they're going to let me borrow my car. Oh, this is so fucking crazy.
What do you mean borrow your car? You have another car there?
I'm going to borrow their cars.
Oh, okay.
This is so... Okay. Ryan, my father... We've discussed this before. My father has a brand new 2021 Kia Sedona. Or Kia something. Sports car. I don't even know what it is. It's a red...
Kia Sorento?
Kia sports car of some sort. Okay.
Optima.
Probably. I don't fucking know. And
Sentra. No, that's a Nissan Sentra.
So it's a 2021 bright red. And
yes.
Then when my uncle and my sister moved to their house to live in their mother-in-law, it's not a weird relationship, by the way. They're both disabled and they take care of each other. Well, everybody's like, your sister's with your uncle? I'm like, oh, fucking A, man. That's gross. He's 80 and she's 35, so come on. Anyway, when my uncle moved to Colorado, he brought this, 1992... Ford Taurus or some shit like that. It was like a Chevy Cavalier or some shit like that. And it's tan. And my dad only drives that fucking car. He will not drive his brand new fucking car. This is a man that has been poor his whole life until recently. And he will not.
Did he even want to get the Kia? Or was that your mom got him into it?
I remember when they got it, he called me. He was like, hey, we just spent your inheritance. And I was like, great, fantastic. What'd you get? And he was like, we just got brand new cars. So he was excited about it at the beginning, when they got the cars. But then my mom calls me and she's like, yeah, we sold Dad's new car.
Wait, she just told you that?
Yeah. 2 days ago, my mom calls me and says, yeah, we sold Dad's brand new fucking car that's got 6,000 miles on it.
6,000? Oh my god! Did they get a good price though?
They paid the loan off and all the things. I don't even know why they got it on a loan, but probably because there was a good APR or some shit like that. But and I was like, so he's driving now because he never drove it. So they just sold the brand new car. Now he's driving 1992 Chevy Cavalier or whatever the fuck he's driving. I don't know.
Were they going to do anything with the money? Were they going to get a different car?
Probably not. She was like, so you'll probably have to use my car. And I'm like, okay. It would have been nice to use my dad's just because the new one got 50 miles a gallon. But
yeah. Wow.
I would feel kind of
he's driving the Cavalier because your uncle cannot drive anymore. Is that
no? He's driving the Cavalier because he likes it better.
Well, yeah, but whose car was the Cavalier?
It was my uncle's. He bought it from my uncle for $1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's probably I'm coasting on money right now.
This my dad
saved so much money on this car.
My dad has been doing a used car dealership situation for years. He would buy a car, drive it 2 years, sell it, buy another car, drive it 2 years, sell it, buy another car, and then buy another car, and then decide which one he wanted to sell and like make money off of that. Like he's been doing that for years. He's always driven really fucking old cars. Like, but not old good cars, like old cars.
Like old Mac cars. Like you can almost put the historic tag on that car.
No.
Like you probably could. 92. That's older than 25 years old.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, like 15-year-old cars. That's his prime, right? If it's a 15-year-old car, that's where he wants to be. It's just so funny. Like
I don't know. I feel like like my car's a 2012. Like that's pretty old.
And
but I feel like it's harder to distinguish like mid 2000s and like newer. I feel like it's a little more of a gray area. Like you can't tell as much.
Yeah, like my car.
Maybe it's just I'm not into cars as much nowadays.
No, I think you're right. My car's a 2014, and it looks like the brand new Subarus. Like it looks pretty much the same.
I think they're just running out of ideas. They're just upgrading the tech inside it, and that's mostly it.
Yeah, they're like, we got the design down.
Yeah, it's like
iPhone hasn't
here,
changed in 12 years. Why do we need to change?
They changed the color tone a little bit.
Yeah. So dumb.
Wow. So that was your news, the Colorado trip?
Yeah, the Colorado trip was my news. Sorry, that like
nice. Okay.
Sidebar.
And you're flying out there because you're using their car, so.
I'm flying out there. I got tickets for like $300, so that wasn't bad. I guess. I don't know. I don't buy plane tickets because I've been on your buddy passes for such a long time.
We're going to have to buy the plane tickets for Claycon West.
I'm driving out there again.
Are you?
Yeah, I decided it just doesn't make any sense for me to fly because I'm going to want to go see Jen and then...
go to Washington?
Going to Washington, but also Andrew bought a house down there. Like, Andrew bought a house with another one of his friends, and they're using it as an Airbnb in Arizona. And so...
In Arizona? Wow.
In Arizona. And so we're going to do a week...
Where in Arizona?
I don't know. We're going to do a week in Arizona either before or after Claycon West. And hopefully Val can come down. And
is Val going to do Claycon West? Wasn't she on the fence about it last year?
She did not come. But it's all a matter of money and time, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Arizona's pretty cool. We've been to Phoenix a few times. I like the...
Yeah, I think it might be in, like, Phoenix area. I don't know.
Phoenix, Scottsdale, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too far. I feel like Andrew drove from Flagstaff last time.
Yeah, it won't be too far. Yeah.
He drove from south for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was a couple years ago, but... Okay. So then I'm going to have to give you some pots and stuff, like last time?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking about having to pack up some shit. We'll take our Wheel Talk mugs and some other stuff.
I'd like to, because if I'm going to be sleeping in my car again, I'd like to not have that many pots. But...
Yeah. We're not going to. I overdid it last time, for sure.
But it was fine. Like, we figured it out last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't know what to expect for selling-wise.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't say any this when Diana Adams was on.
Yeah.
She's
Sample House.
Sample House. She's going to be at Claycon West too. She's going to be
one of the
speakers.
Demonstrating presenters. Yeah.
Yeah. So
like main stage.
Main stage, and then she's also doing something at Nsika too. The shit.
She doing the throwing shit.
Throwing shit
at Nsika. Is it at Nsika or is it?
They said they're doing it at Nsika. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's kind of her little like web series she does on Instagram with some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should come to Claycon West. We will be there doing a mini presentation, which is like hour and a half discussion. We'll be talking about selling at art shows.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever questions the audience has for us. That was always a fun time.
Yeah.
And we'll be there. I think we'll be talking on Friday, so...
Yeah, Joe said that they had so many people that they had so many applicants that they just like added some to an extra day, so there's going to be even more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They have more to put?
Well, I mean, like...
Oh, okay.
We're more.
Yeah, like, there were more slots than I remember.
Yeah, they've
before.
never done presentations on Friday before.
Okay. Yeah, because there's at least 2 on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, so y'all get more presentations for your money than you have in the past if you've been there. Yeah, should be a good time.
Yeah.
So. All right.
Oh, this was my question. My question for you, is there any new shows that you've been watching that you're really into right now? It can be old shows and stuff, but like, what are you watching right now?
In actual, like, 8 Simple Rules for Dating Your Teenage Daughter.
Oh, that's what you're watching?
That's Rachel and I's, like, dinner show that we watch.
Nice.
I think there's only 2 seasons or 3 seasons or something. I think John Ritter died in season 2. Like, literally died during season 2. We just started season 2, so yeah, I would say that's my show. What show are you watching?
Well, I've been on Star Trek for quite some time. I think I'm in season 3.
Still rocking it out, huh?
I'm in the Next Generation. Now with Picard. And look.
Picard, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at this.
Is Picard a last name?
Yeah,
Captain
Jean-Luc
Picard.
Picard. I'm in season 3, episode 26.
Wow.
But I've heard good things about like Murder in the Building or something. Ghost is on. Ooh, Ghost is on Paramount. I fucking love Ghost. Also, did I tell you that Whoopi Goldberg is in Star Trek?
Yeah, you said that with Diana. Yeah, I've mainly been watching a bunch of like comedy stand-up, specials.
Yeah.
I'm about to the second season of this thing just came out, and I'm about to watch this.
What is it?
It is the second season of Indian Matchmaking.
Oh.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, Lloyd is here and he is telling me it's time to go. I've decided that Lloyd is a millionaire and I'm his assistant. Did I tell you that?
No.
That's our relationship. He's
a millionaire in what? Like cat treats or something?
He's like a millionaire. He's like a business millionaire, like an entrepreneur millionaire that's just like every time I walk around, he's like, hey, what are you doing? You're doing that wrong. Hey. Why are you doing that? Hey. Hey. Hey.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
You hear him? You hear him? He's like, what the fuck, man?
I don't hear him.
Oh, he just meowed. He's scoping out his territory.
Okay. I've also been digging into a little bit of the old Disney movies. I watched Brink the other day.
Oh my god, Brink! I fucking
love
that
Brink.
movie.
I was so that sweet spot of that like period of my childhood was like right when I was like doing rollerblading and
perfect.
bike riding and like
Perfection.
BMX was big and skateboarding.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it.
Are you gonna watch Air Bud?
Is Air Bud on there?
Is Air Bud Disney?
I don't
Or
think
is
Air
it
Bud.
Nickelodeon or what was it? No, it's not
don't think
Nickelodeon.
I don't think Air Bud's on there. I looked through every single movie on there and put as many of them on my list as possible, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think Air Bud is. Now I'm looking on my IMDb. I mean, I watched Air Bud semi recently, so Air Bud's all right. Kind of holds up. Air Bud. Let's see.
I fucking loved Brink though. That was such a good movie.
It doesn't even say. It doesn't say who it's made by. I don't think it's on there though. It's crazy the other ones that they have like I watched Golden Receiver, World Pup, 7th Inning Fetch, Spikes Back, Air Bud Spikes Back. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, some of the. Yeah. Is there a movie that you watched when you were a kid and you were like, you watch it again many years later and you're like,
how?
Ooh.
Like what? I don't know.
Man, there's some movies that just do not hold up. Some of these Disney movies are a little cringe. It's like, why would I like this movie? But yeah, there's definitely some out there. Were you looking something up, or are you just distracted?
I'm just distracted.
Okay, we should probably wrap up then.
We should probably wrap up. Meh.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay.
Go visit Becca if you're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Do they have a special booking on your website for that trip?
Not yet.
Okay.
But we'll probably do something. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
How? But yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
All right. Bye.
Yo, yiggity yo. It's Becca here. Hey, just so you know, thank you for listening. And also, we have... What do we have again? A Patreon. We have a Patreon that you should go, and if you want to donate to, you could donate to it. If you don't, that's cool too. But just Google Wheel Talk Podcast Patreon. Don't do the other one, because there is a Wheel Talk on Patreon, but it's not us. So make sure you get the right one. It's in the show notes. And also, leave us a review because they're fun to read. Okay, bye!